WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is Sound Warning.
Live in the studio.
It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9.
All set? Let's go.
The Zone.
All right, good morning. Welcome in. Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Presented by the mouth-watering steaks at Kessler Prime and the Renaissance, KesslerPrime.com to make a reservation. Show is also brought to you by award-winning Elijah Craig Bourbon. And Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week is coming up October 10th through the 9th. Jay Meadows. We've got some really, really cool stuff planned for that. No, October 10th through the 19th. What am I talking about? That was weird. Yeah, October 10th through the 19th. Looking forward to that. Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week. We'll tell you more about that as we get closer to that time. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app. I'm your host, Bo Bounds. And we'll have Steve Robertson at 8:30 on Mississippi State and Tennessee, and them being 4-0, and then Tom Luganbill will recap week 4, but we got to look to week 5 too because of the big games, the big game in Oxford, big game in Starkville, Athens, Penn State, and the list goes on and on as far as week 5 this week. It's going to be incredible. Yeah. Absolutely wild.
Got sex appeal.
Oh, whoa.
This weekend.
Whoa. That was deep thoughts from Jackson Meadows.
I mean, yeah, heat on the schedule.
Okay.
I mean, actually, I'm gonna watch like a half at least.
Are you going to try to watch?
I'm going to watch a full game.
Are you going to try to watch some football?
Yeah, not like a whole full game of one team, but like I'm going to watch like a few quarters of each. Spread it out.
That's perfect. If you watch a quarter and a half to 2 quarters of multiple games, that's great.
I think that's what I can do. I think I can do that.
Okay.
That gives me time to take a break in between and stuff like that.
And what in God's name do you need to take a break for? I mean, from watching football.
A lot going on.
That's the last thing you do is have a lot going on.
So much.
Auburn at A&M is another game this weekend. Golly. Now, I know. I mean, it's LSU at Ole Miss. Is the 2:30 ABC game.
All right.
Auburn at A&M is the 2:30 ESPN game.
Jeez.
Tennessee at Mississippi State is the SEC Network game. Oregon at Penn State, huge. I mean, both of them are undefeated.
Right.
And then Bama at Georgia.
Wow.
Kalen DeBoer going to play Kirby Smart.
You'll get embarrassed.
And he may. I don't know. And there's other games.
That's 5 right there that are heavy hitters.
So Friday night, you know how we talked about how the ACC and Big 12 have looked at this thing and said, hey, Saturdays, it's hard to get some
love.
Some oxygen.
Yeah.
Because of the SEC and Big 10. We talked about a record number of college football games, P4, on Friday nights. So you got an ACC game and a Big 12 game. The Big 12 game's against TCU and Arizona State.
That's not bad.
Who, are a good football team. So just keep in mind, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves here. Let's drop the Dabo from – I'm going to play off Dabo from last week, talk about it for just 1 second, and then Dabo after the Syracuse loss. This is Dabo after they lost to Georgia Tech last week.
If they want me gone, if they tired of winning, they can send me on their way because that's all we've done is win. So if they tired of winning, we've won this league 8 out of the last 10 years. Is that not good? I'm just asking. Is that good? I don't know if that's good or not. To win your league 8 out of 10 years, to go to the playoffs 7 out of 10 years, to be in 4 national championships, win it twice. Yeah, we're a little down right now. Take your shots, but I got a long memory, in case y'all don't know. We'll be all right. We'll bounce back. This is a program built to last, always has been, always will be. And I would just say if you give up on us if you don't believe in us because we've lost 2 games down to the last straight and you didn't believe in us anyway, so it don't matter. You wasn't all in anyway. If you're all in, you burn the ships, man. There ain't no exit strategy. Like, you're freaking all in. And hey, listen, I mean, if Clemson's tired of winning, they send me on my way, but I'm going to go somewhere else and coach. I ain't going to the beach. Hell, I'm 55. I got a long way to go. Y'all going to have to deal with me for a while. I got a long way to go. I'm just getting going. I'm just now good enough to be a head coach.
Well, you know,
Regressing.
at Clemson, look, you're going to lose some games, regardless of where you are, especially now, this day and age. But at Clemson,
You 1-3, bro.
yeah,
Like, get out of here.
You can't be losing to Georgia Tech and Syracuse
Back to back.
Right. All right. So this is Dabo. I'd like your reaction on the Golden Moon Casino text line. 601-885-3776. So he was really full of himself. Mm-hmm. He was calling out his client,
Well, you can call
his
that.
stockholders.
There you go.
Clemson alums and students. While Dabo has given them everything, there's no doubt about it. And he is the reason why that place has boomed to a certain extent. He is.
Oh, yeah,
he is a big reason. I mean,
Yeah.
that area was booming, but he has accelerated booming and expedited and helped it, okay? And what he's done is amazing. And he has helped them student recruitment because seeing Clemson on the national stage has made kids want to apply to Clemson from all over, which is also good. And it has made donors that weren't giving give, and donors that were already donors and giving give more.
Right.
All right. And we mentioned, I want to give him credit. He has generated hundreds of millions of dollars for that area in the Clemson area and all those beautiful lakes and so on.
Quarter B.
Okay. More than that.
More than that.
All right.
Yeah, fourth,
but
yeah.
this is Dabo after the Syracuse loss on Saturday.
Disappointed, painful. I mean, hurt. I mean, I'm human. I mean, I'm not a cyborg. I mean, this is my life, man. I mean, I've been here 23 years. I love this place. I give this place the very best I got every single day. Every day. There's never been a day that I haven't given Clemson every ounce of everything I had. I hurt. I mean, I'm invested my life here. And when I don't get the job done, I'm responsible. And I feel the pain. You know, it's not just my pain. I feel everybody's pain. And, you know, but that comes with my job. And I don't run from that at all. I mean, I've been in these situations many times. I've had a lot of great days, and this is a very, very low day.
Dabo Swinney, head coach at Clemson. What do you think, Jay Meadows?
Sounds like me, kickball.
Aren't you 0-3?
Yeah, So I mean, like, it sounds eerily similar. So mine's
Except you don't have the championships.
That's right.
Fat Pat at Martins and Livingston takes all your
That's right.
hardware, so you can't even stand up and go, "Hey, we were winners."
Can't do it.
But
That's right.
Dabo can.
Yeah, you can, but he hasn't done it for me lately. That's all that matters.
That's all. What did Nick Saban say? You're only
Last
as
one, yeah.
good in this business as your last game.
And it's not fair, but it just is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, that's why he's paid, what, 11?
$11.5 million a year.
Wait, what did you say his
In
buyout was?
Clemson, South Carolina. He's not living in Manhattan, New York.
No.
Or Laguna Beach. Or on South Beach.
You can do whatever.
Clemson, South Carolina. $11.5 million, which is a beautiful area.
Yeah.
But dude, come on.
What can't he do?
He can do anything.
Yeah.
All right. The Out of Bounds Show is brought to you by Superior Foundation. French drains, foundation repairs, driveways. Powered by Superior. Superior.ms, Superior Foundation. All right. Steve Robertson coming up next. Good morning. Welcome in to the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. That's a devastating loss for Auburn, especially with the fake substitution that led to an Oklahoma touchdown where nobody was there and the guy was wide open and Oklahoma knew what they were doing. SEC office once again acknowledges that their officials totally dropped the ball. Now Auburn has to pick themselves up and go to A&M. That's brutal.
That's a tough one.
Now, I don't know, man. I mean, that's tough. And then they got this run. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a pretty good to good team. I don't know. We'll see this weekend. All right. Auburn at A&M, LSU at Ole Miss, Tennessee at Mississippi State, Oregon at Penn State, and Bama at Georgia. That's not even everything, but is that unbelievable or what? That was like saying, hey, do you want a 44-ounce porterhouse from Kessler Prime medium rare with a side of fried shrimp, bacon wrapped shrimp, and scallops?
Gimme.
And an Elijah Craig Old Fashioned. Most of you would say yes. Or a glass of Dr. Pepper. Whatever it is you want. But good Lord, that's amazing. Let's give out a couple of game balls. Even though you got to give Oklahoma.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
the whole team.
Brent Venables got another big win. John Mateer, QB1 at Oklahoma. They got the dub. They won. And now they take a week off before playing Texas. No, sorry. They take a week off before playing Kent State.
Hater. Love a good Kent State. They never cover.
And then they play Texas.
Yeah, woo.
That's a good game ball goes to Oklahoma. Game ball goes to Indiana and Kurt Signetti. I want to give a game ball to Drinkwitz and Missouri. I want to give a game ball to Miami and Mario Cristobal. Y'all know he's capable of screwing things up.
Wow.
He did not, or Florida didn't allow him to. Miami beat Florida.
Man, is he gonna be able to like maneuver this situation like Eddie O did? Like just don't screw it up. Just get out the way and let your people do what they need to do.
You know, that would be crazy if we wake up in January and Miami's in the national championship game.
I feel like they're going to be in the playoff. I know it's obviously jumping the gun a little bit, but they're obviously trending the right way.
They put themselves in a good position. They beat Notre Dame and they beat Florida.
That's huge.
Okay, so I got to give. That's why I'm giving a game ball to Mario and Carson back, and that Miami defense.
I mean, their schedule can't.
They're
be that
physical.
daunting.
They have talent. They're fast. Again, line of scrimmage. And so
they got one test left. What's next? I mean, it's October 4th. They got a bye, and then they head to Tallahassee.
Oh, Mike Norvell, the next coach for the Florida Gators.
That's right.
Dan Mullen, the next coach for the Florida State Seminoles.
That'd be awesome.
Okay.
They would be so good.
All right. I didn't realize that. So in 2 weeks?
That's it. But they take a break. Then they head to Tallahassee. And then after that, it's Louisville, Stanford, SMU, Syracuse, NC State, Vatech, and Pittsburgh.
So they'll drop one at least, but you're right. They have an awesome opportunity to punch their ticket into the college football playoffs.
If that's not 10-2, then that's very, very poor.
Yeah.
That's at minimum 10-2.
Number one recruiter in the ACC. I'm with you.
Should be 11-1.
Mario's a ferocious warlord. If you're a team that doesn't have warlords on your staff, then you really don't want to win. We're live in the Bank Plus studio, Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Unnamed texter, with all the massive games this weekend, we got to throw in some Ryder Cup from Beth Page Black. There's no doubt we do, and I'm really fired up about it. And Elijah Craig is the official bourbon of the Ryder Cup, which is really cool for us. And you already see they're posting some great stuff, content on Instagram. Elijah Craig is.
That's right.
It's going to be a lot of fun, trash talking. The Americans want to win. The Europeans want to win. And I can't wait. And that will add, especially in the morning, that'll be perfect on Saturday and Sunday mornings when you're doing game day or pre-NFL shows too, to get
I get you booted.
the Ryder Cup,
Yeah.
and it's at Bethpage Black in New York. I've got a friend going. I'm super jealous. But on Wednesday, I have a Davidoff dinner with Spring Street Cigars, so I'm really fired up about that. They only do a couple of them a year, and they are nice. And I'm really, really fired up. Bradley C. on the Golden Moon Casino text line. Holy smokes, Bo. What an upcoming weekend with Week 5. Napier's got to go, man. I mean, he's just bad.
He gone.
He's probably the worst coach in the SEC for real.
Ooh.
Well,
Ooh. Is he? We always do the best. We've never done the worst.
Napier and Mark Stoops right now. I guess Sam Pittman. God bless Sam. Arkansas.
They're
You know,
two
Ole
plays
Miss
away.
and Mississippi State fans talk about, I guess every fan base does, about getting their heart ripped out.
Right. Oh, my God.
Arkansas fumbles at Ole Miss driving. Ole Miss couldn't stop them. Who knows if they go down and score, but they fumble, they lose the game.
Right.
They're inside the 10 on Saturday. All they got to do is kick a field goal.
That's it.
And they fumble. I just think this is, and they've got a good quarterback.
Yeah,
And they got a good running back.
good.
Now, their defense is awful. But, like, even in college football today, they've got enough to where they could have won the last two games, but they've lost the last two games. This doesn't look good. And they've got a schedule like Mississippi State. And so Mississippi State did what they were supposed to do.
Right.
4-0. Got that good Arizona State win.
Big time.
Arkansas, on the other hand, has a gauntlet of all gauntlets like Mississippi State is about to face. So I don't know how they do this thing.
And they missed their window, obviously. Or they missed their window of opportunity, at least. 2 plays. Well, not knowing what happens in the Ole Miss game, but the fumble obviously was a direct correlation to the loss last weekend, or this past weekend. 2 plays, and Pittman could be coach of the year. Man,
Okay.
That man's supposed to be undefeated right now.
Out of bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Thank you for that,
He's
Jackson
supposed
Meadows.
to be undefeated.
That was brought to you by Cover Source Solutions, HVAC, air conditioning, and plumbing. Cover Source Solutions. CoverSourceSolutions.com. Locally owned, Mississippi grown. Offices in Brandon and Ridgeland. CoverSourceSolutions.com.
It's Venables, though, right?
What about him?
He coach of the year.
He's doing a fabulous job.
Up to a quarter, what are we, a quarter way through, 25%?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He would be, right?
He did what he needed to do. Give him credit.
I can't believe that.
I mean, they beat Michigan and Auburn. That's who they were supposed to beat. They did it. Give Oklahoma credit.
That's right.
Those are good wins. Auburn with the fake substitution call, the deception play going against Auburn. Can you imagine the amount of F-bombs John Cohen unleashed on Saturday night and Sunday morning with SEC officials? What was the over-under?
Oh, my gosh. Where do you go? 60?
I mean, because John will get after it in that space like nobody's business. And he runs hot. I mean, I don't know what the over-under was on a 3-game SEC series when he was a baseball coach.
Ooh.
But I think he eclipsed that number, Jackson Meadows.
Yeah.
Steve Robertson coming up next on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. The SEC Insider Hit today is brought to you by one of the best Italian restaurants in the Southeastern Conference. Taste Italian Kitchen in Starkville and Ridgeland. From the vodka rigatoni to the bolognese to the tiramisu. Mix in a little calamari and fried ravioli. TasteItaliankitchen.com to make your reservation today. Open for lunch and dinner in Ridgeland and Starkville. And they serve fabulous food. It is a beautiful, beautiful restaurant. The decor, the bar, everything is awesome. One of the best Italian restaurants in the SEC. Taste Italian Kitchen. We're the Out of Bounds Show. We're 105.9 The Zone ESPN. Steve Robertson joins us. GenesPage.com, 247 Sports. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. Steve, you and I were two of the few that were banging the drum the last 5 or 6 months that this was a schedule where Mississippi State should, and the expectation should be, both on and off campus, of going 4-0. Give Lebby and the players credit. They did what they had to do, and it's the first time they're 4-0 in over a decade. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And, outside of that Arizona State game, the State has been in control of each of these games, right? And even in that game, State had some really good moments. But, the reality of it is the old adage is good teams win, great teams cover. I'm not ready to say State's a great team, but State's covered the spread in all 4 games. And, got a chance to do it this weekend, with Tennessee coming to town too. So the Arizona State game we always felt was probably, the most important on the schedule. Well, you knock that one out, and now to kind of underscore your point, since the NCAA went to a 12-game schedule, Mississippi State has gone 4-0 in the non-conference 10 times. 9 of those 10, they have made a bowl game. And so now here is the 11th time that State's gone 4-0 in non-conference. And so now we'll see what happens the rest of the way. But Jeff Lebby and the crew have put this team in a position to do some pretty cool things.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the disaster of last year and what Lebby and his staff were able to do, and Mark Butler and Charlie and among others, to get this thing going in the right direction. They still, they still have a ton of work to do as far as personnel. They need to, add another layer in December, as you know, but they're trying to win some games, possibly 5 or 6, and get into the postseason. So let's go with the offensive line. It's still a work in progress. Shapen's played well. They've got some other pieces that have looked good. I think he's holding the ball a little too long, Steve, and I don't want him to take the hits he's taken. What do you see from this offensive line as they go into a big test against Tennessee this weekend?
Well, Lebby has said he's going to play 3 tackles and 3 guards just because, spreading the wear and tear out a little bit. And at times that's been an issue. They're playing well, don't get me wrong, but there have been some unnecessary hits, and I think some of that is just a cohesion standpoint, right? You just have had some guys that maybe haven't developed a lot of chemistry yet because of the fact you've had guys a little bit banged up. You lose Steen week 1 against Southern Miss, then Reese misses a game, Timothy Lewis has missed a game, so it's just a matter of repetition. But, this Tennessee team the State's about to play, certainly a very talented team. But the reality of this game is, and I think it's what it's going to boil down to, if State can pass protect, State has a real chance to win this game. Tennessee is dead last in the SEC when it comes to pass defense, giving up over 1,100 yards. They've given up 19 explosives. So that's plays of 20 yards or more in the passing game. So if State can keep Blake Shapen upright, State's got a puncher's chance to go win this ball game this Saturday night.
Yeah, but do you agree with me? I'd like – he's playing well. I'd like to see him just throw it away when it's not there, Steve. And how important will that be? He's been able to take some sacks, Steve, against teams that – even Arizona State, they were able to recover, right? But even against Northern Illinois and so on, they've been able to – you can't – I don't think you're going to be able to do that against Tennessee and keep moving the chains. Do you?
No, I agree with that. And the late blitzer has been a problem with State. Even Alcorn State had some success with that late blitz, and some of that's on the tight ends, right? I mean, some of it's on the running back. So it's the entire unit has got to do a good job. But in that respect, too, Blake can't take unnecessary hits. Kind of drilled him about that a little bit over the weekend post game. Even asked Devin Booth, how do you feel? Seeing him get off on a long run and instead of run out of bounds, lower his shoulder, and Booth's like, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Blake can't do that. And listen, Blake's got to kind of play within himself. But when the plays are there to be made, I thought that what was it, 3rd and 26 play where he takes off and splits linebackers. I mean, the guy is clearly a great athlete. But we got to be smart in what we do. And there's a fine line between being ultra competitive and being smart. And sometimes he pushes that line.
All right, I didn't know. I knew he was athletic, but you just mentioned the 25-yard run or whatever it was. I didn't know he had that kind of speed and explosiveness. I don't remember that from last year, but granted, his year was cut short with the Florida game and the injury. Did you know he had that much speed when he got about 6-7 yards past the line of scrimmage, Steve?
He showed a burst that I didn't know he had, but he's a former baseball player too, so he's used to running in a straight line, pretty regularly. But when I begin to kind of think about the Blake Shapen experience against Northern Illinois, with their ability to stop the run, you needed to have the threat of the quarterback run to make them account for all 11 guys, right? I mean, so you had to make them account for the quarterback run. So I thought it was a nice wrinkle. I just thought Blake probably should get out of bounds a little more often than he did. But, you win the ball game, everybody's healthy, now we get ready to go for 5-0.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to the this is going to be a line of scrimmage game, like all or 99% of the SEC, Steve. And Tennessee has the advantage there. So what do Levy and McIntyre, Rhodes, and Hutzler do to kind of mask that? Not that they don't have some pretty good players there, but to level the playing field maybe as much as they can on Saturday against Tennessee.
I think you got to bring some front side pressure and make the quarterback uncomfortable. Tennessee lost 4 of 5 offensive line starters, but they really have not missed a beat. And that just shows quality recruiting and development there. I mean, they have not really had an issue at all when it's come to running the football, protecting the quarterback. But I think you got to bring some front side pressure and force him to get that ball out a little bit. If you sit back and let him play pitch and catch all day, I mean, with Brazel and some of these other guys, they've got some skilled guys that can hurt you. That they will absolutely get down the field on you in a hurry if you let the quarterback just sit there and be comfortable in it. And I don't know if that's bringing Isaac Smith out of the slot, that's bringing a corner blitz, but I think you got to be very exotic in your pressures this week and make Aguilar uncomfortable. I think that is the name of the game for this Bulldog defense. I think in some respects State's going to be able to match up on the back end, but you can't cover forever. So you've got to get pressure on the quarterback, and you've got to protect your quarterback. I think this game will ultimately be decided of who can protect their quarterback the best and who can complete passes down the field. And Mississippi State's done a really good job in pass defense so far. Granted, they haven't played an offense as prolific as Tennessee's.
Steve Robertson, genespage.com, 247 Sports. Dogs host Tennessee this weekend, 3:15 SEC Network. You expect the place to be packed. And even, Steve, are your expectations for Davis Wade to be even louder than the Arizona State game?
Yeah, I think so. And it's so interesting. I've had people asking me where to get tickets for 2 weeks now. Hey, we're not coming to Northern Illinois, and they didn't. But we're going to come to Tennessee, and we're trying to get tickets. And let me remind people of this, too. When you go on your social media accounts and you put that you're looking to buy tickets, you're going to be inundated with these bots that are associated with scammers. Always check the official website first. No matter what school you cheer for, go to your school's website first because you're going to pay a lot less fees. I know everybody, listen, if it's free, it's me too. But in situations such as this, there's not going to be a lot of free tickets available. And so if you're looking for a discount, you're probably going to get scammed. So I would encourage you, go to hellstate.com/tickets. Get tickets there. If there's ever any problems, the ticket office can correct you. If you buy from a third party and something goes wrong, you're just out your money.
Okay. You mentioned Isaac Smith. How about that play in the left? That was an NFL level play by Isaac Smith on Saturday. That pick and to keep his foot in bounds. How good was that?
That was incredible. And again, we go back to this discussion that we had in the offseason. The star position, which is what he plays, is basically like the old Rover. Like Terry Hogue used to play at Georgia. I mean, they just move him where they need him. He's not a true linebacker. He's not a true safety. But on that play, it's a one high safety look. And Isaac Smith is the guy that's, 20 yards off the line of scrimmage. And it was kind of reminiscent of that great Thursday night pick that Nico Whitley made of Cam Newton. You just go, the pass is a little bit long, and you make the athletic play and get your feet on it. It's hard to believe it's Isaac Smith's first interception as a Bulldog, considering the great things he's done here at Mississippi State. But that was really a turning point in the ball game. I mean, I didn't think State was ever in any danger of losing that game. I think that play and then the block punt just kind of let everybody enjoy the rest of the day.
Yeah, I agree. Steve Robertson on the Out of Bounds show. What about health? How did they come out of the game? Who's injured? Who's going to be back? Give us some whatever updates you know.
Yeah, I'm eager to see what we find out about Jerron Manning. He got banged up a couple times in the game, and watching him walk off the field, he was really favoring that left foot a little bit. So that's something to watch. We'll try to find out for you today. And, of course, now that we're in SEC play, the availability report will be out all week, so there won't be a lot of mystery come game day as it relates to all that. But outside of that, it looks like State got this game pretty healthy. And, again, we'll ask Jeff Levy here in a couple of hours just, how things sit. Last year, Lev didn't have much to say on Mondays and just said, hey, we'll release the availability report later this week. But we'll still ask. We've got an obligation on behalf of the fans to ask those things. But Manning is probably the one right now I'm the most concerned with.
Okay. With Whitson out, who can be a factor? Who can disrupt the pocket and get to the quarterback or making uncomfortable, not just this game, but throughout the season? Is there more than one guy? Is there a couple of guys that may have a shot of somewhat replacing Whitson?
I don't know if you have anybody on that same caliber of athlete up front, but I'd like to see a little more Ray Thomas. I mean, they put him in the ball game late against Alcorn State. He had some really big plays. He was in the game this week too, against Northern Illinois, his former team, and made some plays, got a sack, ran the quarterback out of bounds about 3 yards short of the line of scrimmage. And so I'd like to see a little more of him, but it's been interesting. You're kind of seeing this Burrows and Diesel Moy thing. They're not pass rushers, but they're guys that kind of create a pile there in the middle, and sometimes that's all you need your interior defensive lineman to do. I think one of the stories, maybe the storylines that's lost from the weekend, is that Northern Illinois is a run-first team, and State held them to their lowest rushing total of the year, and they had 2 weeks to prepare. I think that's probably gives you a little confidence that this defensive line's kind of figuring some things out rotationally since Will Whitson's injury. Do you have a player that explosive? I don't know that you do, but it does appear this group has made some progress in the last 2 weeks and preparing to kind of move on without him.
Okay, so I don't know if I asked that the right way. Is there a guy that's kind of built like, everybody wants to go to like Montez Sweat, and those guys just don't come around, and you don't have any of those players right now. So is there a guy that could emerge that's kind of got the body or the athleticism of Brule or Tyrus Wheat or another, not as good, Steve, but Isaac Smith, a tweener hybrid guy that could stand up on the left or right end and just go get the quarterback that doesn't look like a defensive lineman necessarily?
Yeah, well, I think in obvious passing downs, I think Nave Sanders is the guy. He's a guy that was relentless pass rusher at Northern Illinois. And State's used him a little bit too, but, State hadn't been a lot of these, third and long type situations. And I think that's a big part of this deal with, like as you say, especially with a guy like Aguilar. I mean, you've got to be able to get after him when
right
that the threat of the run is not there. And so, yeah, I think maybe Nave Sanders is a guy that could be a factor in this ball game and really in these third and long situations kind of moving forward.
All right, but you You mentioned Tennessee pinned their ears back last year, ran over Mississippi State once Heupel got frustrated that they couldn't throw the ball for some reason, like he wanted. And Nico wasn't accurate, whatever. Aguilar is more accurate. They look better. How, if you had to, like, what do you think the ratio will be where Hutzler, McIntyre, and Rhodes have to commit, Steve, up to maybe 8 guys, but definitely 7 in the box to try to keep Tennessee from running it and at will and putting their corners and possibly just one safety back in man? I mean, how often do you think that'll happen on Saturday? Is that something they're just going to have to do and hope it works?
Yeah, I think you got to win on first down, right? I mean,
Okay.
you got to go out there and maybe even have some run blitz on first down and play some press coverage and things like that, because you've got Kelly Jones is one of the more athletic corners in the country, not just in the conference. I mean, you don't have guys with that catch radius and that speed that play corner very often. So you've got to win on first down, because you can't go up and get in second and medium where they kind of dictate terms to you. But yeah, I think you can't be bend but don't break in this. I think you've got to be a very aggressive defense. And back to your point too, like as we discussed, State knocked Nico out of the game last year against Tennessee. And then they're like, you know what, we're tired of messing with you guys. We're just going to line up and run the football, which is what a lot of other opponents have done. I don't think they'll have that same level of success because personnel is different on both sides.
Sure.
But you've got to put Tennessee in a situation where they're not dictating terms. And a lot of that's being able to score, and I think this is going to be a higher scoring game than people anticipate. I really do. I don't think it'll be one of these games that's played, in about, 75 minutes. I think it's going to be one of these games where both teams really, really, get vertical. I think there's going to be a lot of passing in this ball game both ways.
Well, Levy has proven that even last year with Van Buren and Coleman, but this year with Shapen and the crew, that they can, generate explosive plays to the passing game, which is where you started the conversation, and I think that was smart. Steve Robertson on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. GenesPage.com, 247 Sports, the Boneyard Podcast. Dogs 4-0 for the first time since 2014, and Levy and crew have done what they needed to do. Credit to them and the staff for going 4-0. There's a lot of excitement with Tennessee going in. All right, am I missing something? Obviously, Mississippi State has a hell of a field goal kicker. Is there a player on either side of the ball that I missed, or a unit that you're locked in on that you're like, hey, there's more juice here. They can play better, or there's a unit that hasn't played as well as you thought they would, and that they have to play better against a team that's favored by 7.5. Steve.
Well, I think you got to stop rotating punters. I think you got to go with Ethan Pulliam. I mean, he has proven, averaging right at 45 yards a punt. All due respect to Tice, but he's averaging 34 a punt, and he's had 2 for 21 yards that both have immediately led to opponent points, including the touchdown that gave Northern Illinois the lead, and the one against Arizona State that gave them the field goal before the half. Those are very important hidden yards within a ball game, and I think that's something Levy kind of got asked about that on Saturday. Something we're going to continue to evaluate. I think you got to stop rotating punters for sure. And you got the penalties. You got to cut out these penalties. And there's been so many of these on special teams. You had the block in the back that pins you back deep. You had the unsportsmanlike conduct on the block punt that kind of negates a lot of the block punt, right? Because it just, instead of you having a ball at the 41, you got 26. I mean, those are the things that drive coaches crazy. It's like, yeah, you go out and you win 38-10, but look at all of the sloppiness that happened in this ball game. And if you're getting ready to go into SEC play, you cannot give any team in the Southeastern Conference free yards. You just can't do it. And that's where I think State, that's where the cleanup is this week. And listen, I know Joe Moorhead left here, and the name is kind of a punchline at times. But one of the things that he said that I've always remembered is we cannot accept in victory what we would not accept in defeat. And having double-digit penalties and things like that, no matter the margin in the ball game, those are the kinds of things that really kind of speak to coaching and speak to execution and speak to pride. And those things have to get cleaned up. And I was a little disappointed the number of penalties this past week. And I think you kind of let those guys hang around a little while. And I thought the crew had just an okay day from an officiating standpoint. But, there were some obvious penalties things that Mississippi State simply can't do if they expect to win SEC football games.
Yeah, they were flag happy, but I agree with you that the dogs and the staff have to get buttoned up. You make a great point on the punter and Ethan Pulliam, former baseball player. I don't understand why that move hasn't been made already. What's going on there? I mean, play the best player.
Yeah, I think part of it too is Tyus just had a couple of really well placed short punts. And what I mean by that's not being critical. I mean, he had that one end over end thing that pinned Arizona State back inside the 5. I don't know if that's a skill that Ethan has yet. So that maybe there's a role for Tyus in that respect. But when you're backed up deep, you need a guy that can hit a big boomer for you. I remember Blake McAdams. I mean, people forget, that game against Auburn, when State went and won that game under Crum, Blake McAdams hit an absolute boomer of a punt that flipped the field that basically gave State a chance to put up a goal line stand there at the end. Those yards matter. And so I think when you're backed up, you got to give that guy that's probably going to get you a 45, 50-yard punt, and Pulliam's had a couple of those already, 50-plus punts. That's the guy that needs to be in the back of your end zone, not the guy that's shanked it 2 times for 21 yards. And listen, that's the reality of playing life in the Southeastern Conference. It's never personal. It's always performance-related.
Yeah, but that shanked punt out of the end zone on Saturday, good grief. All right. Are you fired up? Is genespage.com fired up about this week and weekend?
Yeah, we are as a staff. It's so interesting, too. I think there's still some people that are kind of scared to believe. And I get it. People still have PTSD from last year. But, you're 4-0. Be happy you're 4-0.
Yeah.
And you got a good team. It seems like you're healthy. And it seems like, the Jeff Lebby system is kind of taking root. Let's just see what blossoms this year.
I could not agree with you. Enjoy it. I mean, you may get beat on Saturday. You are the underdog, clearly. But there is a path to a win, and I agree with Steve Robertson. Enjoy it this week. Have fun with it. And go to genespage.com because Steve and them are uploading content about every 30 seconds. Steve, we appreciate it.
See you, bud.
genespage.com, 247 Sports. Steve Robertson on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. The show is brought to you by Cover Source Solutions. HVAC, air conditioning, which I like air conditioning. I like my house to be cool and cold. So air conditioning and plumbing. Air conditioning and plumbing. Cover Source Solutions. Locally owned, Mississippi grown. Offices in Brandon and Ridgeland. CoverSourceSolutions.com for your next HVAC or plumbing, repair, new construction, existing. We're live in the Bank Plus studio.
say, kids, what time is it?
It's 9 a.m. and this ain't okay show. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds.
On aboard!
As Mississippi's #1 morning show rolls on the Zone 105.9 and online at The Zone. WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is now warning.
Live in the studio.
It's the Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9.
All set? Let's go.
The Zone.
Oh.
This show is flying by. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Good morning, welcome in. Tom Luganville, National College Football Analyst with ESPN. Lugs will join us at 9:30. We'll start with LSU and Ole Miss, work back from there. Woo! LSU and Ole Miss, 2:30, ABC, Vaught Hemingway, Oxford, Mississippi. Unbelievable. We're streaming live on the Zone1059.com and the Out of Bounds radio app. Trinidad Chambliss. Oh, my gosh. This guy's putting up video game numbers. So how will Trinidad and Lane Kiffin do against Baker, defensive coordinator at LSU, Harold Perkins, and that pretty damn athletic and long secondary at LSU? What about that matchup? Lane and Trinidad against the LSU defense this weekend. That's another delicious matchup. The Golden Moon Casino text line is 601-885-3776. Twitter X at Bo Bounds. And the Michelob Ultra caller line is 601-707-3750. 707-3750. Sun Devil Macy, our Arizona State fan and cigar insider. Sun Devil Macy on the text line. I will give the devil his due, pun intended. You did call out the importance of the Arizona State game all summer long. Yeah, we did. And look, I give Levy, McIntyre, Rhodes, Hutzler, Mark Bottler, and many others credit. They won a game that was a tough game against a team in Arizona State that believes in their head coach and Kenny Dillingham, who won an unbelievable game on Saturday night, in which I watched it. And the game could have gone either way, and Arizona State won another fourth quarter game. They did not win that fourth quarter game in Starkville. They won all their fourth quarter games last year to punch their ticket to the college football playoff. And to hang around, whether you're Lane Kiffin, who's obviously riding high, or Jeff Levy, or Sam Pittman, or Billy Napier, or Hugh Freeze, or Brent Venables, you got to win games in the fourth quarter. And God bless Sam Pittman. His team fumbled twice in the last 2 weeks. It doesn't make Sam Pittman dumb. It doesn't mean that Sam Pittman doesn't know football, but they lost to Ole Miss because they fumbled in plus territory against Ole Miss, and they lost to Memphis because they fumbled inside the 10. And Mississippi State, goal line stand against Arizona State, then threw a 60-yard bomb to basically walk them off. And Dilly and Arizona State, another fourth quarter win. And Brent Venables and Oklahoma with the fourth quarter win. And Drink with the fourth quarter win over Shane Beamer. And Beamer's got to be sitting there going, what just happened? Last week we played Vanderbilt. Lenora Sellers gets knocked out in the second quarter. We don't score again. Vanderbilt and Diego Pavia eventually absolutely worked my defense, which has actually been the best unit at South Carolina, even with Lenoris, since Beamer's been there. And then they come back this weekend in a close game and they lose. Fourth quarter. I think we're going to see more of them because of the talent being spread out. And like Oklahoma and Auburn and Missouri and South Carolina and Mississippi State and Arizona State and Ole Miss, Lane won a fourth quarter game against Arkansas. Arkansas's driving. Ole Miss made the hit, the strip, and they jump on the ball, and the game's over. And we could go through that, left and right. But Arizona State won another big game in the fourth quarter. Does Dillingham have staying power at Arizona State? I don't know, but dang, it sure looks like it. Okay? He's kind of got that vibe. Levy does too. It's just, we've talked about how charismatic and magnetic Levy is, and that people gravitate to him, and he loves working. He comes in, like Lane doesn't want to work a room, doesn't love to work a room. Okay, Dillingham and Levy and like Drinkwitz, those guys love it. Hugh Freeze loves it. Kirby can work a room. I mean, Kirby's a beer and barbecue guy, no doubt. But we talked about Levy, charisma, and magnetic, and people, he's a big guy, people person, so on. And I've said this. I mean, if this works, he's perfect for Mississippi State because, Levy is a fire pit, a cowboy ribeye on the grill, and a glass of bourbon. He is right at home. I've seen him in that scenario or in that whatever environment and spot. But, one thing that we said, in regards of how this year goes, he's going to have to upgrade his staff to have staying power to hang around. Because in this league, look at what Todd Golden did at Florida in basketball. That's an example. In this league, you always have to be upgrading. Saban was always upgrading. Kiffin has upgraded a couple of times. One thing about Lane, he may not want to small talk you. Man, Lane, somewhere on the road under Pete Carroll, Nick Saban, with his dad, he really, really understands how to hire and staff. That's what most people, coaches, high school, college, NFL can't do. Like, that's why Dan Campbell expedited everything with the Detroit Lions. Look who his OC and DC were the first couple of years. They're now with the Chicago Bears and New York Jets as head coaches. Why did Dabo win? Jeff Scott, Tony Elliott, Brent Venables, his coordinators. What did he do after they left? He promoted from within. Now he's got Garrett Riley, and I don't know what's going on with their offense, but my point is, like, he got the right people, really high-end coordinators in place, and then boom, they won. Saban had some of that, and then he went through times where he did not. Like Tosh Lapoy. What are we doing at defensive coordinator? But then the others were like Kirby, Jeremy Pruitt, and Pete Golding. And I'm sure I'm missing one or two. And he went through some unbelievable coordinators, as y'all know, with Lane Kiffin, Sark, and McElwain, and I may have missed one. But there was Dayball went through there for a year, didn't he? Isn't that crazy? Yeah. Brian Dayball went through there for 1 year. He's the head football coach for the Giants. Interesting. Twitter X at Bo Bounds, brought to you by Rick's Pro Truck, 3 locations. Oh, make sure that you know Casey runs the Rick's Pro Truck in Gluckstadt, Madison County, and Notre Dame has to go to Arkansas this weekend. They're favored. Notre Dame at Arkansas this weekend. Spray and bed liners, lift kits, tires, and wheels. Take your truck, SUV, or Jeep to Rick's Pro Truck this week. Hunting season's around the corner, too. RPT, baby. Trucks live here. Tom Luganville at 9:30. I think y'all are crazy. I know I am. You know?
Ooh, baby.
Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show. Absolutely loaded week 5 of games. Loaded week 5 of games. And brought to you by Fowler GMC. Fowler, GMC. Fowler GMC, Pearl Brandon. Pre-owned or new GMC Yukons or GMC Sierra trucks. FowlerGMC.com. Go ahead and stop by there today if you're in the market for a truck or SUV. We know that, Ole Miss already has 2 conference wins. So, they've already beat Kentucky and Arkansas. They're playing Washington State. They're awful. They got boat raced 2 weeks ago. It was ugly. I didn't think it was possible, but their schedule may be even better this year than last.
Guess what? Texas still sucks.
And they don't play Texas. So I don't know why I dropped that. I just thought it'd be funny. Mississippi State does play Texas at home, and that game, I never in a million years thought I would say this. That game may actually be in play. Texas, I think Oklahoma's going to beat them in 2 weeks.
And they hadn't shown you a thing to make you believe otherwise.
They're probably going to go to Florida and lose.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. They have shown you something. I forget about Arch, flexing.
Arch Manning flexed on a Sam Houston player after scoring on Saturday. So,
Guess what? Texas still sucks.
Yeah.
You think his teammates let him know about that?
They're just the first loser.
No.
Wait.
They were excited.
What are you doing?
You didn't like that.
No. No. Then again, I do feel the whole, the kid needed a win. He needed a mental win. And if that's what it was and that's where he got it, he'd take it, I guess. He needed one because he had been getting dragged.
Did you really hit a parlay?
Of course.
This weekend? Or are you just lying about it?
This one.
Because don't lie about it.
5 team. I'll have to look. They're 4 or 5.
How much did you make?
It wasn't too much. It wasn't number $100-something bucks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a little bit of that's a little bit of food.
Covered
money.
Every bit of the gaming this weekend and then some.
Post Mike Leach dying and gave you the toughest schedule in the country for 2 straight years.
Right.
You just pulled Ole Miss, Vandy, and Alabama. I think that's pretty good. Diego Pavia, I know he's trying to get another year.
Another one?
Yeah, but I think he's done. Ole Miss pulled Mississippi State, LSU, and Oklahoma.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't like that very much, but
Bama pulled Auburn, Tennessee, and Mississippi State. I don't love the Bama draw, but they're never going to be Bama of 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, if you know where I'm going there. Because we've talked about the portal and so on. Can they be good again? Sure. They can be unbelievable.
Alabama's going to be higher ranked or lower ranked than Vandy when they play this week or 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
They are.
That's a hot take.
They are. No, it's a fact.
No, that's
Hot take.
Well, this is you.
Hot garbage.
Typically.
So Ole Miss with Kiffin there. But you were going to draw that regardless. They're not going to break up the Mississippi State Ole Miss game. Vanderbilt and Bama. I'm trying to. Is that good?
I don't know why it's not.
I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's a Diego Pavia less Vandy, I would assume. I don't think he's getting another year. No
Clark
way.
Lee Motors can continue the deal.
Not less. Now, like I said, they will be ranked higher than Alabama when they play in 2 weeks.
Florida got a pretty good draw. Georgia, South Carolina, and Kentucky.
But they deserve it.
Well, they got a brutal schedule along with Mississippi State.
Right.
This thing was so poorly done. But again, the teams like Ole Miss, Tennessee, and Missouri don't care. They're like, we love it.
Who's doing this? Who gets to do the schedules?
Somebody created some algorithm in Birmingham.
Well, that's
I could have had a third grader that did a better job.
Why? Who is tasked with that, and why was that person tasked with that?
Man, it's federal government-esque.
It's terrible.
It was ridiculous and embarrassing. What else jumps out at me here?
That's a great draw for state, though. You're going to get one heavyweight. You can guarantee it, right? I mean, if you're drawing from the SEC, you're going to find one.
Is that good?
How's it not? If you're going to draw three, you're going to take an L.
The original one was Ole Miss, Kentucky, and
that's never happened.
A&M.
Yeah, that's never happening again, though, right? Like, you're never going to get that. Whose was Ole Miss? Ole Miss was LSU, Vandy, and who?
No. Ole Miss did not get Vandy.
Oh, they did not get Vandy.
I mean, they got to play Vandy for 50 years.
Right.
They got Mississippi State, LSU, and Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Venables.
Well, I mean, he's got it going on this year. This may be enough
I can't believe that.
For him to stay around.
Year 3? Middle of it.
Levy was there. No, this is year 4.
Oh, wow.
Levy was with him for 2 years. Remember, last year he wasn't there, so that's year 3. This year's year 4.
Right. Ooh, that's a.
Remember, he fired 2 offensive coordinators last year.
Right.
He fired his offensive coordinator, promoted from within, and then fired that guy.
Too.
Then went and hired John Mateer from Washington State and his offensive coordinator. I mean, went and grabbed him, but it's hiring this day and age when you're paying him.
The Pavia way.
Right. Yeah. So Vanderbilt, I think Indiana to a certain extent, but Vanderbilt and Oklahoma and some others have done that.
I like that. You identify the player
if you can get the player and the OC.
Go get it.
Yeah, no doubt. No question.
Yeah, you better be good at identifying that. But.
Here's one thing I want Levy's done everything he's supposed to do this year. One thing, but considering Levy is a top quarterback coach in the country, and I know he knows this, surely they are, and I guess they've been doing this, but surely the emphasis is going to be on Blake Shapen getting the ball out of his hands this week. And if it's not there, throw it away. Don't take an 8 to 10 yard sack and get drilled by a big, bad dude on the Tennessee front 4 or front 7 or whatever they're doing that particular play. Get the ball, pull a Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. And even Mahomes. Get the ball out of your hand and live to fight another day. I don't think you can overcome negative plays against Tennessee. You could against Northern Illinois and Arizona State and even Southern Miss. You're not going to be able to do that against Tennessee. Levy's smart. He understands QB play. Got to tell Shapen, throw the ball away. Tom Luganbill with ESPN next. Your SEC Insider Hit this morning is brought to you by Cover Source Solutions. HVAC and plumbing, locally owned, Mississippi grown, with offices in Brandon and Ridgeland. HVAC and plumbing. Cover Source Solutions.com. Locally owned, Mississippi grown, Cover Source Solutions. We're ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We welcome in Tom Luganbill, National College Football analyst with ESPN. Lugs, what was your reaction when you saw the play, Auburn-Oklahoma game, the fake substitution, the deception play, whatever you want to call it? What was your reaction?
The coaches live in the gray area every time they're trying to get a competitive advantage. And Oklahoma weighed the percentages of whether or not they would get caught. And if they did get caught, so be it. You live to play the next down. If you don't get caught, you're going to end up with a positive play or a touchdown, and they rolled the dice. The officials missed it, obviously. I think when you see something play out like that, and I've been on coaching staffs where not only do we have that exact same play, and I've been on coaching staffs where we've utilized it, and it's almost impossible to defend. It was outlawed when they started making all of the substitution rules to create equity for both teams so nobody could have a competitive advantage for obvious reasons. And I think it's not just that the officials missed it on the field, but it was so glaringly obvious that something was off at the end of the play that at some point I think the officials upstairs have got to buzz down and say, hey, guys, just give us a second. Let's take a beat. We need to take a look at the all-22 on that and just confirm that everything is above board. And they didn't do that, and they should have done it. But if you're looking at it from Oklahoma's perspective, what's the downside?
Sure.
A penalty on one play? What is the deterrent? There really isn't any. So from their perspective, I see why they did it. I'll say this, and I think it's worth noting. If you've paid attention to college football in the first 4 weeks of the season, what the ACC is doing with their transparent reviews, utilizing a command center with officials where you can hear the command center and the review board talking back and forth with the on-field head referee and going over what they're seeing, stating the mechanics, all of those sorts of things, because, there were multiple calls in the Oklahoma-Auburn game.
Yeah.
And I think we all would have loved to have seen or heard or both how they came up with the reversal on the catch down the sideline. And, there was a play in the Syracuse-Clemson game that was almost identical to that play. A different motion, but a play where the receiver came in bounds, both feet were in bounds, and then when he went down, the ball got bobbled. And you could hear the officials talking through all the mechanics. I think you're going to continue to see that grow and expand throughout college football, and it's going to be good for the sport. But I don't blame Oklahoma. They rolled the dice and figured if the percentages weigh in their favor, why not?
Tom Luganbill, National College Football analyst with ESPN on the Out of Bounds show. I think those are two for what college football is today, which is totally different than a few years ago, as you and I've discussed many times, with the disruption of COVID and the portal. But Luke's, with what college football is today, I think Oklahoma and Auburn are pretty damn good football teams.
I'm glad to hear you say that, because number one, I agree with you. And first off, both teams are damn good on defense. Mm-hmm. Really good. Okay. And the reason why I say I'm glad you said that is because clearly both of these head coaches, both of these programs have taken on a lot of scrutiny over the last 2 to 3 years. And I know that if you're an Auburn fan, you lost that game on Saturday. But you cannot sit there as a reasonable Auburn fan and look at the team that's on the field right now and not say that that team is vastly improved over the product on the field a year ago, because they are in almost every area. You cannot, as an Oklahoma fan, look at Oklahoma and say, wow, they hit on a lot of the right buttons this past offseason, because they are different than they were a year ago. Now, are there areas of concern for both teams as they still continue to gel and develop? Of course there are. Like, for example, clearly some concerns right now on the offensive line for Auburn as the SEC slate gets underway. I think the concern for Oklahoma is they can't run the football without John Mateer. Oklahoma ran the football for 32 yards.
And won a physical game in this league.
Right, and the reason why they won it is because John Mateer is so freaking good that he's able to reel off 11 straight completions with no semblance of a run game. And then when it matters most, engineer a 75-yard touchdown drive after they had gone down to go ahead and win the game. But can you do what they're doing on offense for the entire gauntlet? At some point or another, Oklahoma is going to have to come up with a way of running the football that does not include John Mateer.
Yeah.
But you are so right in your assessment of both of those teams. Those are two really good football teams, and their fan bases and their alumni and their boosters need to start looking at them a little differently and having an appreciation for it.
Agree. Lugan Bill on the Out of Bounds show. All right, let's go to Florida. I thought they had turned the corner last year. I thought Lagway was going to have a magnificent year with Napier.
Me too.
And good grief, they're good on defense, Lugs, and this is just a disaster on offense. So you tell me, as somebody who played quarterback and has coached and been in this forever, what do we do with Florida now at this point?
I tell you, I really don't know, and it's a shame because not only are they good on defense, they're potentially great on defense. Mm-hmm. Can you imagine what they'd be if they couldn't play defense? I mean, that team's given up 3 touchdowns in 4 games. I mean, they made Miami earn every square inch of that field, right? And credit Miami, but and I'm not saying this is going to happen, but we kind of saw a little bit of this from Florida in the first 4 weeks last year, before all of a sudden, for whatever reason, the stars aligned and they started to kick it into gear. And if they don't do that this year, it is going to be a long, long slate of games in that gauntlet for them, because the defense cannot carry them forever. The defense, it's one thing to keep somebody in a game, but at some point or another, you're going to have to do something for your defense. And right now, and I'm with you, dude, I really felt last year, that last 4 to 5 weeks of the season, nobody wanted to play Florida. And they had basically everybody coming back on offense. And you're going, oh, boy, they might have finally put all the pieces together. And I wasn't even counting on them being as good on defense as they are. And then you add that to the equation, it's like, holy smokes. But the bottom line is, I personally, I'm not a big fan of the play calling. I think right now, Billy Napier is calling the game in a very hesitant manner. I don't know if he's scared of his quarterback, if his quarterback has lost confidence, but they look a lot like a lot like Clemson on offense. Mm-hmm. They don't trust what they see. They're not anticipating. They're not attacking. They are late to the party. They look like they haven't played together. And those are two offensive teams that, unlike many other teams in college football, knew exactly what their pieces of the puzzle were going to be. They knew coming in, they had viable, verifiable production with returning players and have regressed.
Tom Luganville with ESPN on the Out of Bounds show, brought to you by Pearl River Resort and the Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook. Okay, let's go to Clemson. Dabo, I thought, got a little over skis last week, lecturing his donors and fan base and students and even with all the success he's had. And it's amazing. Mm-hmm. And he's the most accomplished college football active coach today. Then they lose this weekend, and man, he changed his tune after the game. You have been friends and close to this staff for a long time and covered them for a long time. What do they do from here, Luke's?
It's a great question. I think if anybody had the answer, it would have already been done by now. They have woefully underperformed. You cannot execute, or lack of execution, the way they have with their talent level. It's inexcusable. If you looked at their roster coming into the season, there was not a team in college football that had more verifiable production returning at almost every phase of the game, except for running back. And they have found the running back in Adam Randall. He's kind of filled that void. But there was not a team in college football that had as many components coming back as they did. And it's not that they're just not playing well. They look on offense like the 2023 version of Clemson. And Cade Klubnik, I'm going to say it, nobody's going to like it. I said it on College Football Live last week. Cade Klubnik is not only is he not a first-round draft choice, I'm not so sure he's a fourth or fifth-round draft choice. And they're having to somehow come up with ways. And the thing is, it's one thing when you say, okay, the defense can save them. The defense has gotten physically whipped for 2 weeks in a row by Georgia Tech and Syracuse. I don't know what the answers are. I don't know if it's an internal locker room thing. I don't know if they've lost their confidence. I can't understand how they could become so off schedule with their execution given their level of experience coming back. It's mind-boggling, and I don't know if anybody has the answer. And if you watch the post-game press conference for Dabo this week, you finally saw him searching for answers.
Yeah.
Right? Last week he may have been, very defensive of their success and the fact that, hey, it's not going well right now, we're going to be okay, blah, blah, blah. Truly believing, I think he really felt, and I did too, I was with him. I thought Clemson was going to come out and play lights out. And I think he did too. And then the fact that they didn't is really putting him in a position to start examining every facet of what they're doing, because clearly there's a disconnect there between what they're preaching, what they're coaching, and how they are approaching each and every game, and the players getting the message, because the players do not have the message right now.
No. Tom Luganville, national college football analyst with ESPN. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Okay, you talk about competitive temperament all the time and how it's something that you look for as you've evaluated all these players. When you're down at the Under Armour All-American game, you want to see kids compete. Same with coaches, right? I mean, you know Dabo's story. Grew up with nothing.
Yeah.
His mom lived with him in college. He talked about utilities being turned off when he was growing up. Walked on at Alabama. I mean, he is one hell of a success story. Was fired when DeBose and them were fired. Then got into commercial real estate and finally realized he had to scratch that coaching itch again. And the rest is history. Bowden's fired. He takes over as interim, and unbelievable run. Okay. Having said all that, this thing looks like it's teetering, Lukes. It just, between not replacing Venables and Scott and Elliott ever really, maybe getting a little too comfortable promoting from within. I know he eventually brought in Garrett Riley, but this thing looks shaky. Is that fair?
I think it's more than fair. And if Dabo Swinney was being truthful, and I know him to be a pretty truthful black and white guy, you may not always like what Dabo has to say, but you always know where he stands, right? He would tell you that the on-field product is unacceptable. And it's his job to get it fixed. He gets paid a lot of money to get it fixed. But I don't fall in the camp of the whole going back to the transfer portal thing. In fact, I would argue you could make it a real strong argument that they have the best defensive player that was in the portal this year. Will Helt at Clemson is a dude. In fact, he's the only guy playing on that defense to the level of what he's capable of. The other guys are not. And so he went out and he did do something to improve their team from a personnel perspective in the transfer portal. But, where I think people are frustrated is you're looking at teams across America right now that have had to completely retool their roster with unfamiliar faces. Guys they didn't recruit or sign initially, that have come into their program in the spring or the summer, and then have taken the field and hit the ground running. Ohio State's a great example. Miami is a terrific example. And there are a variety of other examples out there too that reflect this. And when you see those teams able to do that, and you look at a Clemson as a Clemson fan, and you're saying, we have everybody back from a really good football team, and we look like we haven't played together, that is something that there is no excuse for.
Agree. Tom Luganville on the show. All right, we're going to switch gears, and because we got to go to week 5 with Luke's because the lineup is insane. I could continue to recap the weekend, and Kurt Signetti and Drink and so many guys got big wins, and tip of the cap to them. But we got to go LSU Ole Miss with Tom Luganville first, and then we'll work back from there. So these are two damn good coaches, Lane Kiffin, Brian Kelly. The last 2 games have been epic. LSU at Ole Miss this weekend. I love what Blake Baker's done on the defensive side of the football for the Tigers, and all Lane does is just figure it out regardless of who's playing quarterback. So handicap this one for me. LSU at Ole Miss this weekend. It's basically a pick 'em. Who do you like and why, Luke's?
Well, let's start with Ole Miss on offense, because you could not ask for more than what Trinidad Chambliss has provided. Could not ask for more. Has not turned the ball over 2 straight weeks in a row. You're asking a reserve quarterback to come in, making the leap from the Division II ranks, to come in and play winning football and not lose the game in any way, shape, or form by his conduct or his play. And he has done that to maybe one of the best levels we've seen from a reserve, recently. Whether they decide to continue with him or Austin Simmons is good to go, I don't think they can lose either way. And right now, there's a confidence in that football team that it doesn't matter who's playing quarterback. That's big. And Ole Miss is playing good on defense right now. The challenge, in my opinion, in this matchup is defensively, LSU is exactly what Brian Kelly was expecting them to be when he hired Blake Baker. They are disruptive. They changed the picture post-snap. I still have no idea how you're supposed to prepare for Harold Perkins. That guy is a one-man wrecking crew. You don't know where he's going to line up. You don't know how they're going to use him. He is a handful to deal with. He's very unique because he can play in space. He can play as an interior rusher. He can play as an edge rusher, and he can cover. And those are very rare qualities. So I'm going to be interested to see if LSU can force Ole Miss at the quarterback position to make mistakes. Nobody's been able to come up with that answer. Kentucky did it versus Austin Simmons, and it kept Kentucky in the game. And quite honestly, had Kentucky had any semblance of quarterback play, they probably should have won that game. But they didn't, and Ole Miss got away with it. But that's going to be the game within the game. How does the Ole Miss quarterback position handle LSU on defense?
Okay. Tennessee at Mississippi State. Tennessee's the favorite. They should be. But there could be a path for Levy and the crew to get a dub. It will be extremely difficult as Tennessee has better personnel and a more veteran-laden staff, but Levy's done what he was supposed to do the first 4 games. So Tennessee at Mississippi State. How about this? This is a better way to put it. How does Mississippi State put themselves in position to be within a score or tied or slightly up beginning of the 4th quarter?
Don't allow the game to become a track meet and limit explosive plays through the air. Because if there's one thing just Joey Aguilar has brought to this Tennessee offense that was lacking going back to Hendon Hooker, because it was lacking with Nico, it was lacking with Joe Milton. That is what they want to do is they want to run the football and they want to put it over your head. And that kid can do that. And he's done it against everybody they've played, including Georgia this year. So if you want to be in this game and you're Mississippi State, you have to force Tennessee to earn it. You can't give them the freebies. You can't give them the 30-yard over the top, the 70-yard touchdown. It has to be methodical because that's not what Tennessee wants to be. Tennessee wants to run, poof, over the top, big play, explosive, boom, defense is on the field. That's who they are in terms of their makeup. And so if you're Mississippi State, you want to avoid the track meet mentality in this game.
Okay. Try to run the football too, and keep Aguilar and Heupel from calling and dialing up all those plays. Unbelievable Week 5 this weekend. He is Tom Luganville on the Out of Bounds Show, brought to you by Pearl River Resort. Okay, A&M had a week off. There are people in the business who call it the dreaded September bye, that you don't want buys that early, but still, they got one. Auburn, as you just went over, had a hell of a game against Oklahoma. Now they got to get back, practice for 4 or 5 days, get on a plane, go out to A&M. Do you give all? Well, I know you give them a shot. Are you leaning A&M in this game, Auburn at A&M this weekend?
I think you've always got to lean towards the home team when the home team's environment is pretty daunting, right? I think that always gives somebody an edge. But really, at the end of the day, with both of these teams, who can play clean? Yeah. I mean, Texas A&M committed 12 penalties and somehow won a game on the road. I mean, that's an anomaly. You can't continue at that pace. Auburn committed 13 penalties on the road, and it cost them. in a very hard-fought, close game that could have gone either way. So which team can eliminate the sloppy play, the procedure penalties, the penalty on defense on a third down that extends the drive for the opposition? Because last week with Auburn and 2 weeks ago with Texas A&M, that plagued both of these football teams. And as the season starts to wear on and you're going through this gauntlet of a schedule, the margin of error becomes so slim. And you've heard me say this before. It's one thing to make plays and to execute and this and that. But if talent's equitable, and I think it is between these two teams, it's not the play you make, it's the mistakes you avoid. Who makes the fewest errors in this matchup? And from a penalty standpoint, both teams have a lot to clean up.
Alabama at Georgia. Georgia's a 2.5-point favorite. Again, you just referenced home field. I get that. It's in Athens. I actually think Bama's the better team. That does not mean that they'll win. Your thoughts, Luke?
So I'm looking at two areas in this football game that will determine the outcome. Number one, for the first time since week one, Alabama is not going to have a talent advantage in the trenches on offense. If they go out and they perform against this Georgia front seven the way they did against Florida State, they got no shot. The left side of the offensive line for Auburn is something you need to key in on early in this matchup to see if they can hold up, because they were flat out pushed around and embarrassed versus Florida State. Now, the last 2 weeks, they made strides. They made improvement. They had talent advantages, but they allowed their quarterback to grow. They allowed their quarterback to find and develop with other targets that are not named Ryan Williams. I think that's really important for this offense, but this is going to be a line of scrimmage game. That's the first area. The second area is Mike Bobo on offense, the offensive coordinator at Georgia, has realized that he's got a actual running threat with Gunnar Stockton. Now, a lot of people coming into the season may not have really thought that. But if you looked at Georgia versus Tennessee, it wasn't just some plays that Gunnar Stockton made with his feet and extending plays and avoiding a negative play. But they started incorporating designed quarterback run. And when was the last time we saw that from Georgia? What, maybe DJ Shockley? Right? You always, when you played Georgia, you had to worry about all their personnel, but you at least knew where the quarterback was going to be.
Right.
And I think that's a challenge for Alabama's defense this week. They didn't have to face it versus ULM, and they didn't have to face it versus Wisconsin at home 2 weeks ago.
I got 20 seconds. Oregon at Penn State. Who do you like?
I like Oregon. I think it's a huge road contest for them. I think they're the better team, and Penn State's schedule has been abysmal. I need Penn State to step up and play well if they want to erase the narrative that they can't beat good teams.
All right, that was a grand slam. Thanks, Tom Luganville. Be good.
Take care, pal.
Lunch today brought to you by Martin's in Livingston. And don't forget, Monday Night Football is Stella Artois and Wings at Martin's in Livingston. Have a good day. If you missed anything, it'll be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Search Out of Bounds with Bowbound. See ya.